It's week 4 of Beat the Champ here at Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York. Our returning winner, George Szczublewski, takes on 3 new challengers led by Chuck Jagodzinski, Jerry Sokolowski, and Dennis Surmaczewicz. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Peck with Hall of Fame bowler Sue Nawojski. Little bit different and a little bit special for this week's show because all of our challengers come from the house leagues here at Transit Lanes.
That's right. They qualified in-house, and then they were able to come for a special qualifier. We got 3 bowlers out of that. But will that familiarity be enough to upset George?
Yeah, they do know their way around this place, but George Szczublewski knows his way down the lanes here as well, too. He's looking to make it 2 in a row. Who's he going to face? Well, we start to find out when we come back. Our first match, Chuck Jagodzinski and Jerry Sokolowski. We get rolling next. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Latina Boulevard Foods, your favorite family in food distribution, and by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today. And we get started with Chuck Jagodzinski and Jerry Sokolowski getting us going. Now, even though this is Transit Lanes House League, don't for any second think that these guys aren't among the best bowlers in Western New York, particularly Chuck Jagodzinski. We know how good he is, and he has been waiting for his chance to get back here on Beat the Champ.
Right, correct. There's some pretty strong scratch leagues here, and that's how these guys qualified, so they're perfectly able to compete. His finger grip just popped out into the gutter. I saw
something go flying there. Is that what that was?
Yep. And we have someone going to get it.
There we go. We do a little bit of everything. The crew does a little bit of everything here on Beat the Champ. Justin nimbly making his way down the lanes there. 65 years old from East Amherst, New York, Jerry Sokolowski. He has been bowling since he was 9 years old. And the first frame will get him a spare. And now we turn it over to 57-year-old Chuck Jagodzinski from Lancaster, New York. Current average of 235, and that's just among the many incredible accomplishments in the outstanding career of Chuck Jagodzinski.
And in case you forget, he's got his name on his back. You'll know exactly who he is.
Well, Jagodzinski, Sokolowski, Surmaczewicz, and Szczublewski. Apparently part of the qualifying was if your name didn't end in SKI or CZ, you were not allowed to be on this show.
Including being the color talent.
That's right, Nawojski. So, again, our qualifying came strictly from house league bowlers, but the 3 guys that I mentioned are still going to face our returning champion, and that's George Szczublewski, who is not necessarily a house league bowler here, but he is our returning champ.
Right. This is just an ability to showcase the talent here in our host center.
And whoever the winner may be, whether it is Szczublewski for the 2nd week in a row or any of these other guys, they will move on to next week's show at a different bowling center. So just to get everybody all up to speed on the rules and regulations. And 2nd frame now for Jerry Sokolowski. And that looks a lot more like we expected it to.
All right. Right. We're going to look at Jerry's style here. He's standing way ahead of the approach line. He's a few feet ahead of it. Very short steps. Still has good ball speed, but he's way forward on the approach.
Short and compact is the movement, right? So how does that maybe help Jerry, or might it hurt him a little bit?
It's just how he generates his ball speed. We generate our ball speed from our legs.
And that's a 4-pin that will hold up.
That lane does hook a little more, so they have to adjust appropriately. I think that is just a product of that lane just being a touch different.
Jerry Sokolowski's nickname is Socko, I assume, right? That would be the right way to say the nickname. A little easier to say for all of us, so let's see if Sacco can sock it to Jagodzinski here in match number 1.
Ooh, that ball went down the lane quite a ways.
Yep.
So, you stood there and watched that. Wasn't comfortable until they actually hit it.
Spares in 1 and 3 and a strike in 2 for Jerry. And now we turn it over to Chuck, who spared in the first 2 frames and is looking to do that in frame number 3.
All right, Chuck's still looking for his first strike of the match. He's having a little bit of trouble kicking that 10-pin out, wasting no time to pick up his spare ball and get going.
All right, let's take a look at Chuck Jagodzinski, one of the more unique styles of all of the terrific bowlers in Western New York.
Yep, he's very, very quick. He gets everything about him is quick. But his backswing's in a good spot. So he's off his feet, which isn't really conducive, but he does it the same way every single time. And whatever you're going to do, as long as you repeat it and you're consistent at it, you can make it work.
Yeah, I think as you watch us go through this match, you'll see that Chuck Jagodzinski does it the same way every single time, and he might be the quickest and fastest bowler we have ever seen.
Absolutely, he wastes no time.
Things to do, man. Chuck's got things to do. There's no time to waste. Jerry Sokolowski with a strike in the 4th frame.
Right now we're seeing Jerry favor that lane. He's got 2 strikes there, and he's yet to strike on our left lane.
First time ever on television for Jerry Sokolowski. And that takes a little adjusting, even though he is in a place that he's very comfortable in. This is not normally the way he bowls here at Transit Lanes.
Right.
High series of 847 and 14 career 300 games for Jerry Sokolowski.
Made a good move there. He moved a little bit more left. He left the 4-pin last time out, went a little high. This time he's made the adjustment. You see his ball cross over the 3rd arrow, coming perfectly into the pocket.
That's a double now for Jerry Sokolowski, putting the pressure on Chuck Jagodzinski. Ooh, and that's a bad leave for Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck pulled that one. He pulled that one to the left. Now we're going to take a look at this. He's playing way to the right. In this case, those dry boards up there, he stayed in those dry boards way too long.
And he put a pretty good effort in, but it's still going to wind up being an open frame in the 5th for Chuck Jagodzinski. Among the many reasons why he is one of the best bowlers in Western New York, 85 career 300 games and a high career series of 883. And there's your strike. There's a strike in the 6th frame for Chuck Jagodzinski. We'll continue this match when we return. It's Beat the Champ at Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York.
From a legacy of excellence comes the Phase AI. With the innovative Power Edge finish, combined with TX16 Pearl cover stock, the Phase AI provides the perfect blend of length and hook. The Phase 2 set the standard. The Phase AI takes it further. Experience the evolution of performance.
Hey, Paul, what are you doing? Hey, Sue. Hey, didn't you hear? We're bowling on MSG. I've got to practice.
No, Paul, we're not bowling on MSG. We're hosting bowling on MSG.
Oh, thank goodness, because there is no way I was going to be ready. Beat the Champ here on MSG. Nawojski and I will bring you all the action. We'll see you on the lanes.
Paul, were you going to bowl in a suit?
Sokolowski and Jagodzinski. They don't ask us how to spell them. They just ask us to watch these two terrific bowlers battling it out here. It's our Fourth week of action at Transit Lanes. These guys are some of the best house league bowlers at Transit Lanes, and that's how they've qualified for this show. And right now we're in a good, tight match. Couple in a row for Jerry Sokolowski.
Jerry got that one way in. He was definitely meaning to hit probably about 4 or 5 boards right. We could take a look. Way inside of his target. So that would be something more similar to what he's playing on the left lane, where he wants to be deeper. And this lane, he still needs to keep it right around the second arrow.
So he'll try to finish off the spare here in the 6th frame. Retired production supervisor was the occupation of Jerry Sokolowski.
Great spare.
And now I'm sure he would tell us full-time bowler, or amongst the many things that he keeps himself busy with. Good spare in the 6th frame for Jerry.
Jerry bowls in the league here on Wednesday nights. There's a very competitive league of
One of
seniors.
the best in town.
Absolutely. The best in town for seniors. And that's how he qualified for the show out of that league. Great competition. Chuck was in that league as well.
It's not often
Great
that you could stop in here to Transit Lanes and not find some of the best bowlers in Western New York battling it out on the lanes. And that is why it is one of the premier bowling centers in all of Western New York. Oh, he eventually liked it. I'm not sure he did right at the beginning.
No, he liked it. He
You
stayed
think so?
with it. He did. Oh, there's a break for Chuck.
Yeah, a little bit of a late fall there from Chuck Jagodzinski. Crowd liked it.
Still went up a little high in this lane. That was dangerous 4-9 that both got tripped out. That went from a very, very difficult
Look,
spare.
he didn't like it
He
at
did
first.
not, but that
and
was-
hey, see that?
On second thought,
Great look on Chuck's face.
it gave him a much-needed double, though, and
I think we've gotten to know Chuck well enough over the years to know that he generally doesn't like any of his shots as soon as they leave his hand, and he's usually pleasantly surprised.
good spare.
A little close there, maybe.
We've got a 14-pin match here. That would have been a big strike for Chuck. He could have closed it up to 4. But there's no guarantees here. The 10-pin has been troublesome for some of our bowlers.
All right, so back to Jerry for the 8th frame. Let's see if Sako can knock some pins down here.
Better shot. There it is.
Yeah, as this day has gone on, we have seen more and more of those 10 pins that just don't want to move.
Looks like a good shot off his hand.
He maybe needed that an inch to the right.
It's just a little bit of deflection.
And the spare pickup is successful in the 8th frame for Jerry Sokolowski.
Well, we're still looking at a 14-pin match. Both players have spares up, so nobody can double. So it's in their hands. We're in that all-important 9th frame. That's the builder frame going into the 10th. So
you want to set your tone in the 9th frame
right.
for what you can or need to do in the 10th frame.
You can just gain so many pins by striking in the 9th and then carrying it out into the 10th.
And
a little love tap there.
Oh, absolutely a love tap. So a strike in the 9th for Jerry Sokolowski. Winner of this match will take on Dennis Surmaczewicz, and then the winner of that match goes against our returning champion, George Szczublewski, to see if George can make it 2 in a row. And that's a much-needed and good 9th frame strike for Chuck Jagodzinski.
All right, both our bowlers have their builder strikes in the 9th frame, moving into the 10th frame. Chuck's going to want to put all the pressure he can on Sokolowski for his first time on TV. Might as well make him work for it.
Absolutely. 2-time Buffalo Bowler of the Year, 4 city titles for Chuck Jagodzinski, and clutch shots like that are why.
That shot was great. Whenever you get that kick on the 10, watch the 10 get slapped out. That is a great shot.
That's how you draw it up, right?
Absolutely. You know you've thrown it
so
good
much
when you
fun
see
to
that.
watch. Chuck is so much fun to watch. Chuck is one of those guys, as we pointed out earlier, you don't necessarily know what's going to happen if you just watch him, but you'll at least be entertained.
Unfortunately, that 9-pin is going to force the situation that Saka will only need a spare.
So it's a 204 on the board for Chuck Jagodzinski and a chance to win here for Jerry Sokolowski. He needs a mark, and he'll advance on.
Making it interesting.
Yes.
We say how important this spare is. Now it's really important.
So Jerry needs to make this spare, and then he needs 6 pins with his final shot in order to win. Doesn't sound all that difficult until you're standing up there knowing what the pressure is in order to get yourself a victory and move on. And part 1 is complete.
Great
It's the spare. So now just 6 pins for Jerry Sokolowski.
Almost like he didn't feel Chuck's eyes bearing into his back.
You have to put it all out of your mind. Don't listen to anything. Don't look at anything. Just focus down the lane. 6 pins to win for Jerry Sokolowski. And he got 10. That's a victory. Socko with the win, 209 to 204. Jerry moves on. We'll have match number 2 coming up from Transit Lanes next on Beat the Champ. Match number 2 here features Jerry Sokolowski off that win against Dennis Surmaczewicz. And if you were watching our show a couple weeks ago, you're like, hey, that name sounds familiar. Well, that's because Dennis had qualified outside of the league bowling qualifying to make the show, where he actually came up with a win over Stephen Cavalieri and then lost to Mike Zarcone. But because he's a league bowler here at Transit Lanes, he was able to qualify and make this show.
Right.
So he's the first guy to be on, well, he's not the first guy because Mike Zarcone did that, and George Szczublewski will, first guy to be on twice.
By qualifying, absolutely.
Right.
So he does have a little bit of experience on the TV pair. And that only would have been an issue if he would have become the champ and had to have bowled himself. So we had an alternate in line just in case that happened.
Aha. So...
Which was Curtis Voss.
Yeah, so when we did our first appearance for Dennis, he had never bowled on TV before. Now that is no longer true.
Correct.
And the same goes for Jerry Sokolowski, because he's 1-0 on TV.
Great shot. Jerry's got a very solid game. He's got good ball speed. Watch his swing. Straight back and his follow through right over the front of his face. Keeps the ball on line.
So a good strike to get things started here for Jerry Sokolowski. Winner of this match takes on our returning winner, and that's George Szczublewski, who comes in from last week's show and will try to be the one to put 2 in a row together and advance on to our next set of shows.
He was hoping for that one. He kept that one right in the oil line. So where he played there, we're going to see him go right over the 3rd arrow. Ball stayed in the oil. So it hit a little light.
So Sokolowski will have to try to pick up the spare here in frame 2. Love Jerry's like locked in focus before he starts his motion.
Well, if he made that to win a match, he could make it in the middle of it to start a match.
209 to 204 was Jerry's victory over Chuck Jagodzinski. And as we talked about a couple weeks ago, it's a bit of an unusual two-handed style for Surmaczewicz, but it works for him.
Let's take a look at him from the side. Keeps the ball really close under his armpit as he goes through it, and he's at an angle actually facing the right, and then he gets himself back in line.
Oh, and there's a nice little love tap on that 10th pin. And that one's not a love tap, that's just a blow them all out of the back of the alley strike.
Yeah.
So 2 in a row, a double for Surmaczewicz, and that puts a little bit of the pressure on Jerry Sokolowski. Bolden High School, West Seneca West, about 10 miles right down Transit Road from where we are here at Transit Lanes. And that's a good strike for Jerry.
Jerry's good at keeping the ball in play. When we look at his follow-through, his backswing and his follow-through, he is straight through his target. He's looking right through his target, sending the ball right through it. He's not pulling it to the right. He's got a really good form, very, very good at keeping the ball in play.
You will appreciate this because all of our bowlers tell us who their idol was, their bowling idol. And, you know, for the younger guys, it's Jason Belmonte and Kyle Troop, and some of the older guys, Parker Bone. Old school, Norm Duke is the guy for Jerry Sokolowski.
Great shot.
That is 2 in a row now for Jerry.
Take a look at that. He's going to cross over the third arrow. This one he got just a hair to the right into the dry, just a little bit, kept it into the dry, and it actually came in with a lot more force. Didn't leave that 10 pin on this one. Using the dry boards to his advantage.
And Surmaczewicz got that a little too far to the left, which is why he missed that head pin.
Well, like you said, there's a lot of motion to his game. When there's a lot of moving parts. He's opening up, got to close back up. There's definitely some margin for error there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, again, hey, whatever, like you said, whatever style works for you as long as you can master that style. But
do it every
you know,
time.
I'm sure a coach would look at that and go, there's too many things that can go wrong, right? That's kind of what sometimes coaches think about. But, hey, who are we to say? He's on his second show already, so whatever he's doing, it's working.
Can't argue with that.
Nope. So, spare in the first, a double, and then a spare in the fourth for Dennis Surmaczewicz. Originally from Stratford, Connecticut, moved here a couple of years ago and got himself deeply involved in the Buffalo bowling scene. Occupation as a paint sales manager. 32 years old with an average of 230 for Dennis Surmaczewicz. And that one split him right down the middle. This is an interesting leave, isn't it?
To play that part of the lane, his feet are going to have to be a lot deeper. That was way too direct.
I don't know that we've seen this kind of spare in the 4 shows we've done so far.
It's makeable. He'd have to hit that a little bit lighter.
So that's an open in the 5th frame, 8 pins for Dennis Surmaczewicz. And as we have seen through our first 4 weeks of Beat the Champ, opens don't always mean it's hard to win, but a lot of times they put a lot of pressure on
Right,
on
these
a bowler.
matches have been so close that these untimely opens have definitely caused the results to be, they've played a factor.
Working off a double, Jerry Sokolowski with 3 in a row.
That put a hurt on Surmaczewicz right there.
Sure, you get the strike,
It was
he
a
gets
tie
the
match.
open as you're working 3 in a row now, and yeah, a little fist pump there from
Yeah,
Jerry.
it was a tie match before his open, and then a 3-bagger there is going to really change. It's going to alter the direction of this match.
Hey, before we forget, we want to thank everybody here at Transit Lanes. We're bowling here in the special part of the lanes called the 300 at Transit. It's been great. Everyone's been fantastic. This has been a fun 4-week run for us here in our season premiere of Beat the Champ. We will move this traveling bowling roadshow on to Manor Lanes, about 15 miles from where we are here for our next set of shows, but it's been a great place to get this thing kicked off.
Look how far up on the lane he starts.
Yeah, you noticed that very early
on. So he's
on.
a very short push away, not even a push away. He pretty much drops the ball
like
in the swing right away.
3 little baby steps.
Yep. Where normally it would take the...
Spare in the 6th frame. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll figure out which of these 2 bowlers is going to take on our champion.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner. Well, while we were gone, Dennis Surmaczewicz made a move with strikes in the 6th and 7th frame to put more pressure here on Jerry Sokolowski as he eyes the pins for frame number 7.
Much needed double there for Dennis, and he threw 2 perfect shots.
And that's the right way to answer.
Jerry's tough. Jerry keeps the ball in play.
5 800 series in the bowling career of Jerry Sokolowski. 14 300 games. Bowls in 2 different leagues on a regular basis. Obviously the one here at Transit Lanes that allowed him to qualify for this show. 8th frame now for Socko.
Perfect shot. Since he's moved into that 3rd arrow, he has not missed his target. We can watch it roll right over that 3rd arrow. And the break point is perfect. It's not so late that it creates a 10 pin. It is exactly where he needs to be, and he is locked in the groove.
Yeah, that's a quiet, confident look,
Absolutely.
isn't it? So the pressure stays on Surmaczewicz, who with a triple now continues to say, bring it on, I'll keep doing this.
I'll tell you, this match looked like it was going in a direction, but Surmaczewicz has brought it back to a difference of only 16 pins.
So 9th frame now for Dennis. And he'll get a chance to finish this match, so he wants every advantage he can get. Oh, that thing went flying and just did not connect with the 10 pin.
That was a great shot. He's even looking at it with confusion. Like, what could he have done different?
Those are the most frustrating, aren't they? You do almost everything right and you just don't get the ultimate result.
He needed one more rotation to get that out. Great spare.
All right, spare pickup in the 9th for Surmaczewicz. And now working 2 in a row. It'll be a finish up here for Socko. Remember, the winner of this match takes on Szczublewski. to try to prevent George from getting his second straight championship. That's how you answer.
It almost looks like a replay of the one we saw before.
Yeah,
he has been
consistency.
absolutely accurate on his every shot. Here we go again, hitting his target. Ball breaking right at the right time to go high flush. No chance of a 4-pin, no chance of a 10-pin. And that was in that 9th working frame that's going to put this match away.
So here's the chance for Jerry to finish this one off. And it's another strike. That's 4 in a row. And that will clinch the victory for Jerry Sokolowski. And he will move on to our final match of the day. 2 in a row for Socko. And he will finish off and post the final score. But it's a win for Jerry. And he's on such a roll. We want to keep watching him do this. That's 5 in a row now.
It looked to me like Jerry moved in a little bit to see what would happen, so he can be prepared for the next game. Because now,
Smart.
Right now he's going to be staying on to bowl another game. Why not move in a little bit and see what happens?
Yeah, test it out. Right. I've already got the win. Let me see what I can do to prepare for the next one.
So he saw that he was in more, but he got that one right, and that one didn't recover. So
An impressive 257 for Jerry Sokolowski. And Dennis Surmaczewicz doing everything he can to finish strong. The 257, Sue, is, I believe, the highest score anyone has posted here in our first 4 weeks of action at Transit Lanes.
Yep, so I was thinking that just as he was getting up to double for the second strike in the 10th, and I thought that was the highest match we've seen, highest game we've seen.
So the first guy to make our show twice, that's a little answer to a trivia question here on Beat the Champ, is Dennis Surmaczewicz. He did come up with a win before losing to Mike Zarcone, and now dropping this one to Jerry Sokolowski. 257 to 211. Sokolowski, Szczublewski beat the champ. Next. 2 bowlers, 22 combined letters in their last names, 20 frames of bowling to decide our final champion here at Transit Lanes. It's George Szczublewski and Jerry Sokolowski. Heck of a word score in Scrabble. It should be an even better bowling match here.
2 very tough bowlers, keep the ball in play on a regular basis, but George has been sitting for an hour and a half waiting to bowl. So
well, that'll warm you up pretty quick. Yeah, I mean that is something that you and I should talk about more, is based on our format. When you win the week before, you are the guy that waits for people to come to you in the 3rd match of each show, which means there is a lot of sitting around and waiting.
Right, the advantage being the worst you could finish is second, but you do have to sit around and wait.
Meanwhile, in the case of Jerry Sokolowski, he's bowled 2 games and won them, or at the very worst, the bowler in the final match will have bowled at least 1 game. So there is an advantage of being a little more warmed up and having a little better understanding of the condition of the lanes.
Now, surprisingly enough, Jerry uncharacteristically missed right, got it into the dry, which made the ball overreact, go high, and leave a difficult split.
Let's see what Jerry can do with this.
Get his 2.
Well, he'll get 2, but it'll be an open frame of 9 pins to start here for Jerry Sokolowski.
Like you said before, if you're going to have the open, it's better to have it in the first frame. And he got maximum pin count, which you always want to do. When you see that, if you go for it, sometimes you're just going to clip that end pin off, and you're only going to come out with 1. Always take the 2, because you never know how these. We've seen so many matches come down to just a couple of pins. makes a difference when you get all of your pin count.
Is there sometimes a decision you have to make of, do I take the 2 or do I try to do something to get them all?
I think only if you were at the end of the match and you were really down that you would maybe try to go for it. But especially when you're on a strike, multiple strikes, always get your pins, because when we're on a double, those pins count for double.
Right. All right, now a little picket fence here for Jerry to deal with, the 3-6-10 on the right-hand side. So Jerry's not making it easy on himself here.
Oh, cut
Ooh.
that right through the middle. We
Oh.
talked about how it can fit between the 3 and the 10. That was a perfect example. You rarely ever see this, but it is possible.
Oh, gosh. And there was
Clean.
maybe a quarter of an inch on either side of that. Oh, so that is not the way Jerry wanted to get things started, with opens in the first and second frame. And meanwhile, George is muddling away a little bit here, too. And that's a nice spare pickup for George Szczublewski. We want to thank our host center for Beat the Champ, Transit Lanes. You can find them online at transitlanes.net. They are just one of our many great host centers. And if you want details on how to be a part of Beat the Champ, just stop in at any of our host centers and ask how you can be on the show. And we could be seeing you here on the lanes in our upcoming shows. Oh, what is going on here?
They're having
The
a
end of a long
momentary
day,
lapse.
but man.
We're going to take a look at him pop up, get that ball way to the right. Never could have come back off that. Even though the boards are dry out there, that was way too far down the lane for it to come back into the pocket. Very makeable spare, though. This is like shooting a washout.
And
he wrapped around it.
Yep, and that will be open for George in the third frame.
Well, a break for Jerry, since he's went open, and under normal circumstances, that would pretty much take him out of the match, but he is still very much in it.
And a little bit of a slow motion strike for Jerry Sokolowski.
Nice adjustment there. Lanes have obviously changed a little bit. They were both kind of paid the price for some change out on the lanes, and they had to make a decision on how to adjust. He stayed with the same ball, moved in a little bit, and it worked out for him.
Winner of this match will be our Beat the Champ winner, and we'll move on to next week's show when we move our entire setup over to Manor Lanes here in Western New York for a full month of shows there. And there's back-to-back strikes for Jerry Sokolowski to balance out those 2 opens.
That's what we saw him learn on his fill ball in the last match. He moved in, kept it in play. He's going for the light hit. The light swisher hit has been good carry here, so that's a good thing to go for.
And once again, an unusual struggle here for George Szczublewski. We've seen more pins left in the first 5 frames of this match than we have all day.
Yeah, it's a little uncharacteristic. Something, I mean, he's hitting the dry boards. He's either missing his target, ball's starting to overreact for him. We'll have to see what his plan is to make a move on this lane.
Got 4 pins left. And he will leave one of them. So
wow.
In the most unusual of circumstances, each guy has had back-to-back open frames.
Yeah, this is another tough spare. You've got that sleeper back there that ball has to hit. You saw the ball deflected and never touched that pin.
So, boy, Jerry Sokolowski's got to be feeling a little bit better after opening with 2 opens and thinking, oh, my gosh, I just destroyed my chances of winning. But here comes George, says, I see your opens and I match them.
There it is, same
there
hit.
we go.
You see how that light hit, we call that a swisher hit, has a better carry here than the direct into the pocket hit. And that's one of the characteristics that you look for. You try to find what part of the pocket carries the best.
So we're kind of back on even ground here a little bit with these guys. And certainly it gives Jerry a chance to continue to bowl well and have a chance to win this one, and he'll have to take care of the 4 and the 7 for a spare.
A spare here will put him up 11. So this ball got in on him. That was definitely inside of his target, which is a rare thing for Jerry. Jerry normally doesn't pull the ball. Good spare.
Yep, good spare pickup in the 5th frame here for Jerry Sokolowski. So since those 2 opens, he's gone strike, strike, spare.
Right, even though he's up 11, which George posting up that strike, he can make this match even. This match could be right back, even though they both have 2 opens, they could be right back to even.
Yeah, well, normally these guys are putting 230s and 240s on the board. Might be a 175 that wins this one, right?
As long as you get more than your opponent.
That's right, one more than the other guy. Jerry Sokolowski leaves the 10-pin.
I think Jerry's getting tired of shooting this pin.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, the important thing is to keep the ball in play. You don't want to leave these 7 counts, these 6 counts. You'll take the 9 count, make your spare, and walk away. There's sleeper pins that just makes for a difficult spare.
Missed it. So an open frame 3rd of the match for Jerry Sokolowski. Somebody's going to win this one. We'll find out when we come back.
From a legacy of excellence comes the Phase AI. With the innovative Power Edge finish, combined with TX16 Pearl cover stock, the Phase AI provides the perfect blend of length and hook. The Phase 2 set the standard. The Phase AI takes it further. Experience the evolution of performance.
Hey, Paul, what are you doing?
Hey, Sue. Hey, didn't you hear? We're bowling on MSG. I've got to practice.
No, Paul, we're not bowling on MSG. We're hosting bowling on MSG.
Oh, thank goodness, because there is no way I was going to be ready. Beat the Champ here on MSG. Nawojski and I will bring you all the action. We'll see you on the lanes.
Paul, were you going to bowl in a suit?
Well, while we were gone, George Szczublewski finally got himself into a groove with a double. Strikes in the 6th and 7th frame. That's the first time all match George has had strikes back-to-back. So that continues to put the pressure on Jerry, who answers back with a strike of his own in the 7th frame. And maybe after kindly, as I put it, muddling their way through the first 5 frames, these guys are going to find their groove.
Well, it's important to mention that the lanes change. They're using aggressive balls that eat away at the on the lanes, and they have to make quick adjustments. On that on the right lane right here, Jerry just made a big move in, and that was successful for him. But you have to take some chances out here in a 1-game match.
8th frame. And a good late drop of the 7-pin. So doubles for Szczublewski, doubles for Sokolowski, and we're coming down the stretch. These guys getting back to who they are.
getting very deep in there. This has been a continuous move left, moving your feet left, moving your eyes left, keeping the ball inside.
Maybe it's those special beat the champ pins that we have here that are messing with these guys a little bit. That's 3 in a row now for George.
It's actually 4 in a row. He did strike in the 5th.
You're correct. You're
before
right
we
about
went
that.
to break.
5th
So
through 8th. Thank you. George coming off the win over Mike Zarcone, who had won our first 2 championships. And then George knocks him off last week, looking for his 2nd in a row.
Presently sitting with a 21-pin lead.
And if you can still see that nice Beat the Champ logo at the bottom of the pin, that means it didn't do what it was supposed to.
You saw him say push. He's left enough of those today to know what kind of hit is going to leave him.
Yep, spare in the 9th frame for George Szczublewski. So Jerry will finish it out here and try to put the pressure on George. But it's a lead right now for George Szczublewski. So let's see what Jerry can do.
Big strike right there.
Strike number 1 in the 9th frame.
There's that 9th frame again. That's his most important place you can post your strike. He can strike out for 213, forcing George to strike out for 213. We have another possibility of a tie if these 2 guys match each other.
I feel like that's kind of the right way for us to wrap up our month-long stay here at Transit Lanes with a tie.
What's wrong with an extra frame or 2?
I got nowhere to go.
Nice shot. Got a lot of that ball when he hit that hard at the bottom. Came up a little high for him. Opened the door up for George.
Didn't seem to quite turn as much as he needed it to turn. Or maybe it turned a little too much.
It turned a little too much.
Yeah, maybe it turned too much.
Wants to make the spare. Get as much count as he can on the next shot.
All right, so 1 more for Jerry and put the pressure on George.
He wants to get all 10
This is
here.
the
to force
greatest
the mark.
Jerry George episode since Seinfeld.
Oh, had to get that in there before it was over, didn't you?
It is real and it is spectacular here with these guys.
Looking for all 10 on this shot.
Nope, he'll get 9. So the final score of 190 on the board for Jerry Sokolowski. And all George Szczublewski needs is, all we need is 9 pins. Nine pins for the win for George Szczublewski. Give him 10 and give him the victory. George Szczublewski with the win and his 2nd consecutive victory here on Beat the Champ. The win streak up to 2, and he'll be the guy that we'll see next week at Manor Lanes to face a bunch of new qualifiers, but to try to keep the crown Beat the Champ winner.
He had to really up his ball speed here to finish this match out, but he did.
Good strong finish. Good strong. It was a bit of a tough go with the 2 open frames on the front side for George, but backside here, 4, 5 strikes so far for George Szczublewski. And that's a good strong finish It's a 212-190 victory. We'll talk to George Szczublewski about his win when we return on Beat the Champ.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are the bowling proprietors
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner. It's a 212-190 win for George Szczublewski 2 weeks in a row as the top of the list here on Beat the Champ. How does that feel to have a little winning streak going?
Feels good. Feels good. I look forward to the next show.
Sue?
I noticed that you had struggled a little bit going in the beginning of the lane. What happened there on the lanes for you?
They just got a little tricky. I made a couple good shots in the middle, but I just oil carried down and ball picks up a little bit early, or doesn't get through the front, and so I made some better shots at the end.
Yeah, I mean, unusual to see two open frames in any of these matches. How do you not let that get you down?
I did, but I just kind of regrouped and made a good shot there and followed it up. So
As nice as it is being the high qualifier, you do have to wait for the matches to come to you. What is that like sitting on the sidelines waiting?
I got a little tight waiting this round, but I got enough practice shots where I got loosened up again. Yep. That's why I was standing, because my back's been bothering me, so I stood the whole time.
All right, so we're going to move this on to a different bowling center. You ready to make the short trip across town?
Can't wait.
All right. George Szczublewski, he's going to go for 3 in a row when we head to Manor Lanes in Tonawanda for our next series of show. What a great way to get this thing started, Sue.
Absolutely. It was the most beautiful environment, spectacular crowds that we had early on, and we've really enjoyed being here, and now we have to do the qualifiers for the next stop, so people please come in and bowl the qualifiers, so we might see you on the next show.
Yeah, good way to get things started here at Transit Lanes. We head to Manor Lanes in Tonawanda for our next series of shows. George will be there, we'll be there. You make sure you're there on Beat the Champ.